2000D on Besaid Note, Class B.
African Rally Championship. It's the total tour Natal that marks the start of yet another spectacular season. And if last year was anything to go by, we are in for one heck of and therefore a new war. And although the motor industry is currently experiencing challenging times, all the teams will fight as hard as ever in their quest for Sasol Rally Championship honours.
Heading the overall title chase will be defending champions Hergen Fecken and Pierre Aris. 2008 was a vintage year for Fecken, who dominated by winning 4 of the 8 events and clinching his first overall title in the process.
But this year it won't be that easy, I'm sure. The guys are all very keen to take us off our throne, so I'm sure we're going to battle to do as well as we did last year.
The last driver before Fecken to have won a championship is 2007 champion Jan Habig. In fact, Habig has 6 drivers' titles under the belt, making him one of the most successful South African rally drivers of all time.
Well, it's a new year, new beginnings, first rally, first stage. I think we'll start flat out and see how it goes.
With 2006 champion Enzo Kuhn completing the BP Ultimate Trio, Volkswagen not only has the past 3 national champions in their camp, these 3 also ended first, second and third in the 2008 championship.
It's a new year and I believe the competition have done their homework, so all of us are a little bit uncertain where we fit in. After the second stage come around and then all of us will know how hard we have to push, but I think with a lot of experience and 3 champions in one team, we've got our own race internally.
Across the service park, there is little or no doubt that the Castrol Toyota team will take the fight to Volkswagen in 2009. During 2008, Toyota's focus was on building a brand new Aurus S2000 rally car, and only bad luck prevented Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh from claiming a number of victories.
Yeah, we had a little bit of bad luck last year, but now we got the car up and running nicely.
Castrol Toyota teammate and former world go-karting champion Marc Grenier has now completed his first full season in the top S2000 class and has a win to show for it, but he will want to be more consistent in 2009.
Let's bring a whole lot of more wins up for the team. The guys have done a great job again on the car, and I'm pretty confident going into the first run. I mean, we did a shakedown on Wednesday and the car felt unbelievable.
Besides the Volkswagen trio and Marc Grenier, Capetonian Jean-Pierre Damseau was the only driver capable of pulling off a win during 2008. And with a bit of luck going his way, the son of rally legend Serge Damseau in his team Total Evolution Runx could be a real title prospect during 2009.
Yeah, we had a good rally in Swartland last year. Good result for us. And yeah, on this rally, being a total rally, our sponsor is Rally, I'd like to have a good event here.
Jaapie van die Kerk returns for his 2nd year in a S2000 Toyota Runx. The Pretoria businessman got a podium in Natal last year and became one of the most consistent point scorers.
Yeah, the podium I think was a lot of luck that had to do with it. It was our first rally. We've been out for some time, and but the name of the game in Natal is to finish.
Former African and production car champion Fernando Rueda has now also joined the S2000 battle after trading his Mitsubishi Lancer Evo for a Team Total Evolution Runx.
You've got to be much angry with the car, and although you must remain smooth, you know, you've got to rev them like there's no tomorrow. So we've done a bit of testing, but we're going to take, you know, the first few rallies of the year just to see where we are. We're not here to do any heroics or anything special just yet.
After an up-and-down 2008 season, Nicholas Ryan returns to the top S2000 class for another year in his Runx. This time with Jeff Tyra reading the notes, while the S2000 class just seems to grow and grow. Johannesburg sisters Lola and Megan Verlack have also swapped their production car for an S2000. When they're not competing on the African Rally Championship, the Rally Chicks will tackle the South African stages in the ex-John Williams Polo. Former Class A7 contender Tien Schubert will further his career in the Salom Group Polo, but now also in Class S2000.
So we'll have no less than 12 S2000 machines, but that's only half the story, because within the Sasol South African Rally Championship lies another title up for grabs. The Production Car Championship is just as fierce.
Class S2000 is the premier class in South African rallying, but the production Subarus and Mitsubishi Lancers are not much slower, thanks to their turbos and also four-wheel drive. These big monsters are known for their distinctive turbo-breathing sound and ability to tear up the gravel, and will again be a thorn in the S2000 side. Leading the production car chase are the defending champions Charles Wilkin and Greg Godrich. Last year, this duo won 5 of the 8 events and more stages than all of their competitors added together. For 2009, Wilkin acquired a new Sasol Konica Minolta Subaru from ProDrive in England.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to driving the car. It's not quite fully sorted to my liking, but we'll do some changes on the event and see how we go.
Visser Du Plessis was the 2007 production car champion. Together with Gerard Snyman and their Pertex Subaru, the Pretoria driver will go flat out in an attempt to regain the title.
No, we're definitely planning on regaining it. We've got a proper racing engineer, so if that makes a difference, we'll be faster.
Hein Latergan and Johan van der Merwe made waves from their very first appearance in this class and even managed to clinch a win during 2008. With new sponsor Diesel Technics on board, they will be serious title contenders for the 2009 Production Car Championship.
Yeah, it's the first time I've got a full year in front of me. The car's good. We've done a lot of work over the off-season, just really make sure that everything is prepared well. We haven't really got the car faster, I think, but I'm sure we'll have a good season.
Joining the production car fight is Mike Nathan and Derek Jacobs. Nathan is a former lower class champion and already showed good pace in the ex-Fernando Rueda Mitsubishi Lancer during a recent regional rally. Young Zimbabwean driver Chase Atwell is another promising driver who moved up the ranks and will now contest this class in a Subaru Impreza.
So those are all the main players. And this is their battleground.
The smooth and slippery sugarcane line rally roads of KwaZulu-Natal. Normally, the Total Tour of Natal would take in some stages on the south and north coast, but this year the tour will be settled on the gravel roads in and around Scottsboro and Umzinto on the south coast. Traditionally, these roads are covered with a layer of small stones, making it extremely slippery for especially the first few cars to drive over them. As cars pass, a clear line starts to form, providing much better grip for the drivers further down the field, making road position more important than on any other event.
This is a tricky event, eh?
And the roads are quite rutted out.
They're certainly not what we used to.
Looks like sugarcane is going to be hard work to stay on the road.
This rally would be the litmus for the rest of the season. So it's going to be interesting.
The crews will tackle a total of 15 special stages, covering a distance of 747 kilometers over 2 days, of which 165 kilometers will be against the stopwatch. In the past, the championship leader had the honors or disadvantage to be the first car on the road, but a rule change now sees the top 10-seater drivers draw their respective starting positions out of a hat, turning it into a lottery. Team totals JP Damso and Andre Vermeulen were the unlucky ones to draw number 1, followed by Johnny Gemmel and Peter Marsh, and the first production car of Charles Wilkin and Greg Godrich. The BB Volkswagens of Kuhn, Habbich and Fecken would launch their attacks from 6th, 7th and 8th on the road respectively. Stage 1 was a loose and slippery affair deep in the heart of Zululand. At only 10 kilometers, it provided the ideal opportunity to get used to the conditions, but the first stage of the season has been notorious in the past for claiming early victims.
In 2008, luck was not JP Damso's friend, and unfortunately for the Cape Townian and his new navigator Andre Vermeulen, 2009 started on the same unlucky note. Soon after the Total Evolution Runix passed our cameras on stage 1, their rally came to a premature end.
Being car number 1 on the road is always a problem in this area. It's very slippery. We started the stage off well, and going down a downhill, we just jumped on the brakes and the car snapped on us. We went off the road about 5 meters and got stuck in a side on a bank, a graded bank, and that was it. You know, we couldn't get the car out of it, just the two of us, and that was the end of the rally.
Their demise handed the road sweeping duties to the Castrol Toyota Auras of Johnny Gemmel and Zimbabwean navigator Peter Marsh, who found the going slippery, but still managed a competitive time of 6 minutes and 48 seconds over the opening 11 kilometers.
Easy left, easy crest, easy left, open, small crest, and...
Charles Wilkin and Greg Godrich in the new Sasol Konica Minolta Subaru were now second on the road and the first production car. They opened their account with a respectable time, but 14 seconds slower than Gemmel. Nicholas Ryan is back for another season in his unsponsored Toyota Runnings, this time with new navigator Jeff Tyra. From what was now fourth on the road, the diesel technique Subaru of Hein Latergan and Johan van der Merwe blitzed through stage one, setting the fastest time by a second and taking the production car lead. Enzo Keen and Guy Hodgson were the first of the BP Ultimate Polos to start the 2009 season, and it only took 3 kilometers for the drama to start. Fortunately, they didn't roll over, but 200 meters down the road, the Polo grinded to a halt.
Come, hold it, let's bring people.
The next car on the road was none other than Keen's teammate Jan Habig. And 2 minutes later, the third BP Ultimate Polo of Fecken also arrived.
No, we clipped the inside on the hairpin and the car just went on 2 wheels. We saved it, but
Okay, boys.
to save it we had to turn into the bank, so we broke the control off.
Yeah, the back has to go. Let's go forward. Okay, come on. Okay, excellent. One more.
Eventually, the remaining 2 BP Ultimate Polos managed to squeeze through, but only after shedding painful amounts of time.
Halfway through stage one, we found Enzo parked across the road, and it looked like he'd gone off in a ditch on the left-hand side and ripped the left front suspension out, and that threw him back into the road with the bank on the left and a big slope on the right-hand side, so we couldn't get past him, and we had to wait for the spectators to come down and pick him up.
Organisers, everyone stopped us, and we waited about 2 minutes before we could leave the accident scene.
The new Africa Developments Toyota Runnings of Japie van Niekerk and Robin Houghton was the next car on the road, opening their account with a respectable time on stage one. But with a number of cars already through the stage, the road was clear for Mark Cronje and Robert Paisley to launch their attack in the second Cashwell Toyota Auris. Cronje raced through in a time of 6 minutes and 34 seconds to take the early rally lead.
Caution.
Without any BP Volkswagens in the top 10, the scoreboard had an unfamiliar look about it. Something we have seen before is the name Mark Cronje on the top of the leaderboard. He took an early 13-second lead over the production car of Hein Latergan, with Johnny Gemmel a close third. Only 7 seconds separated fourth place Visser du Plessis from Fernando Rueda in 8th, while the production cars of Chase Atwell and Mike Nathan complete the top 10 after stage 1. Due to circumstances beyond the organisers' control, stage 2 was cancelled, allowing the teams to head straight for stage 3. Another slippery 8.78 kilometre test of driving skill and speed. After Izonti, the cars could clock into service for repairs, before having to tackle stages 4 and 5 on the trot. Drumdarach was also only just short of 9 kilometres, but in Venetti, a good 40 kilometres west of Scottsboro, consisted of 15 kilometres of smooth and slippery gravel roads, just waiting to catch up the unsuspecting driver.
With Damso removed from the action, it was up to Johnny Gemmel and Peter Marsh to sweep the roads in the Cashwell Toyota Auris. Since moving to the top S2000 class around 3 years ago, Gemmel has showed rally-winning speed in almost every event. Bad luck, however, robbed him of a number of victories, and with the disadvantage of being the first car on these roads, it seemed like the victory would once again not be within his reach. Gemmel lost around 40 seconds to the rally leader over this loop of slippery stages.
And later it's a medium right, long, tight turns, to slow, turn slow.
It's a bit slippy, but it's not going too bad at the moment.
From second on the road, Charles Wilkin and Greg Godrich were still finding their feet in the new Sasol Konica Minolta Subaru. This is the current production car champion's first outing and the new N14 car from ProDrive in England. And as with any other new car, the team experienced some teething problems, but still survived this crucial part of the rally, albeit not in the production car lead.
I don't know, I'm battling to turn the car in right-hander, so I've got no confidence to go quickly. Difficult.
After 2 rather serious accidents during 2008, one of which completely destroyed his car, it was good to see Nicholas Ryan back behind the wheel of his rebuilt Toyota Runnings. Together with new but experienced navigator Jeff Tyrer, Ryan was focused on finishing the event without taking any risks and hopefully attracting the attention of a future sponsor.
I'm trying to get my pace back, but it's going to take the whole day today and tomorrow. I'm just not going to, I don't want to take chances. I've had a rough year last year.
The promising and very talented team of Hein Latergan and Johan van der Merwe only secured their Diesel Technique sponsorship just days before the start of this event, allowing them to compete at the Total Tour Natal. Latergan was going like a bat out of hell and opened up a 26-second production car lead at the end of the day's gravel stages. More importantly, Latergan held second position overall.
I think we lost a bit of time there. We had an overshoot. We had to reverse in the stage. So we made a slight mistake there. But anyway, it's going well.
After losing more than 3 agonizing minutes on the opening stage of the season, it was up to Jan Habig and Douglas Judd to crawl their way back into contention. The BP Ultimate Volkswagen driver isn't a 6-time national champion for no reason, and still hoping that the organizers will show sympathy by giving them a better time on stage 1, the former champion could only drive as fast as he can and hope for the best.
Yeah, we'll just have to get to the end of today's section and then have a discussion with the officials to see what they're going to do about it. So we leave the option.
BP Ultimate Volkswagen teammates and current champions Hergen Fekken and Pierre Aries were in exactly the same boat after losing around 2 minutes in stage 1. The champions only know one speed, and that's flat out. Fekken set competitive times on both stages 3 and 4 and went fastest of all on stage 5 to make up for some of the lost time, but a 2-minute deficit would probably prove too much.
Into, at the top, left 3 of the crest, go, continues and opens, go, 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 go!
We had to concentrate very hard on this stage to stay on the road. It's difficult, but that's fine.
During 2008, Jaapie van Niekerk and Robin Houten were one of the most consistent point-scoring teams around. And for 2009, the new Africa Developments Toyota Runex had its sights set on more podium finishes. Van Niekerk was extremely fast, setting the second quickest time on stage 3, followed by an overall stage win on stage 4. A dream start for the Pretoria businessman, who found himself in 3rd overall after the day's first 3 stages. But rallying is a cruel sport.
That left one, 160. Clearing, slight left, into next. Ietsie gebreek.
But we had a good run, and unfortunately our shock broke, and that broke the tire rod end. We had no steering. Went off right into the sugarcane fields and overturned, but landed on our wheels. Very soft landing. Couldn't have been on a softer place on the whole national series.
On stage 3, the second stage of the day, Mark Cronje and Robert Paisley continued where they left off after stage 1, again setting the fastest time and extending their overall lead in the Castrol Toyota Auris. Cronje was not the fastest on stages 4 and 5, but fast enough to extend his overall lead to a very comfortable 48 seconds after the day's 4 and only gravel stages.
Yeah, just keeping it tidy at the moment. I don't want to go off the road, but the pace has dropped off a little bit. We've got a bit hesitant in the back here. Enjoying ourselves, that's the main thing.
The Pertex Subaru of Visser Du Plessis and Gerard Snyman did not even make it to the start of the 2008 Natal Rally, thanks to a damaged engine. This time round, it was a different story. The former production car champion was fast, ending this loop of stages in 4th overall and 2nd in the production car category.
I'm happy with the pace we have to the right up there. At the same time as Charles I see now, so we're still ahead of him.
After moving from a production car to an S2000, Fernando Rueda had his sights set on a solid finish in the Total Evolution Toyota Runex. Navigator Kobus Frey is no stranger to an S2000 after spending seasons alongside JP Damso, and together the team managed to emerge from the sugarcane in 6th position overall.
70, jump. 80, bump.
Yeah, we're getting there, but it's really, I have to concentrate so hard. I'm trying to keep the revs up there, while before all I was trying to do is keep the car going.
Polokwane businessman Tien Subert and navigator Henny Boertes were enjoying their first ever outing in the S2000 Salon Group Volkswagen Polo after moving up from a Class A7 Polo to the top class of South African rallying. The S2000 only has a touch more power, but has 4-wheel drive that requires a bit of getting used to. Although also new to S2000, rally chicks Lola and Megan Verlaak are used to four-wheel drive after driving production cars for a number of years. They acquired an S2000 Polo for 2009 and were selling good times until a problem robbed them of time in stage 5. Former Class N2 champion Mike Nathan made a welcome return to rallying. Nathan and navigator Derek Jacobs was now behind the wheel of a much more powerful AWI Mitsubishi Lancer in the production car category and going well.
No fun, just a bit out of practice.
Not so lucky was the Subaru Impreza of Chase Atwell and Brian Carriel. The young Zimbabwean's debut in the top production car class came to a premature end when the Subaru's engine detonated in stage 4.
After more than 40 kilometers of fast and furious gravel road action, Grenier had a commanding lead. With Volkswagen ironically tripping over themselves and with Gemmel in second, it was a dream start for the Castrol Toyota squad. Latergan impressed in third, ahead of the other production cars of Du Plessis and Wilken. Mohamed Musa drove brilliantly to place his front-wheel drive Class A6 car in the top 10. After the break, the Total Tour Natal leaves the sugarcane and heads north to Pinetown for head-to-head tar racing in front of thousands of rally fans. For stages 6 and 7, the last of the opening day, where rally sponsors Total have prepared a great show for the large and enthusiastic crowd as the sun started to set over KwaZulu-Natal. The Pinetown Tar Stage is a super special, meaning that two competitive cars will start alongside each other. Soon after the start, each car will set off in its own direction, but in the end, both cars will cover the exact same route, and if it's really close, should cross the finish line at the same time.
On these sort of stages, a team has very little to gain, but all to lose, as a little mishap or wrong slot can so easily take a wheel off against one of the many pavements waiting on and around every corner. And although the races on the streets are against each other, the real race is still against the stopwatch. With no loose stones to sweep away, Johnny Gemmel and Peter Marsh managed to claim their first stage win of the day in the Castrol Toyota Auris, setting a time of 2 minutes and 22 seconds over the close to 4-kilometer course.
Inside lane, turning right at the robot.
Times are very close on these type of stages, as Hergen Ficken and Pierre Aries proved by going only 1 second slower in the BP Ultimate Polo. But in their quest to make up for lost time, every second count. During the second run, an hour later in total darkness, Ficken went one better by setting the fastest time of 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
3, 2, 1, go!
Mark Grenier and Robert Paisley's Castrol Toyota Auris only gave a few seconds away in Pinetown, but not enough to threaten their very comfortable lead. Charles Wilken and Greg Godrich were lying third in the production car chase, but Wilken is a former multiple circuit racing champion and put his tar skills to good use on the streets of Pinetown. His third and second fastest times over these two stages propelled him into second and closed the gap to the production car leader Hein Latergan. Production car leaders Hein Latergan and Johan van der Merwe lost a few seconds to Wilken on stage 6, but on the way to the second run of the Pinetown Super Special, the Diesel Technic Subaru refused to fire up for 8 agonizing minutes, earning them an unfortunate 80-second penalty for starting late and dropping them out of the production car lead.
The car wouldn't start yesterday at the tar section, and there's a chance that we're going to have a penalty for that at the end of the rally, so we'll see what happens.
Grenier goes to bed after day 1 of the Total Tour Natal as the commanding leader. And with Gemmel in second, it was going to be a good night for Castrol Toyota. Wilken and Du Plessis were now the leading production cars thanks to Latergan's penalty. And Musa still occupies 9th in a Class A6 car. So far, the S2000 and production car battles provided loads of action and drama. But behind them, around 20 more teams were all battling for glory in their respective classes. The Total Tour Natal is the first round in this year's championship, which always means new teams with new navigators in new cars. Class A7 is the top class for rally cars with only front-wheel drive. Unfortunately for defending champions Christopher and Dean Reedlinghuis, their Team Total Evolution Toyota Runex did not even make the start due to an engine failure in the days running up to the event. Former Class A6 hotshot Stefan Wilken now joins Class A7 in his Panhard Seeds Polo, with new navigator Greg Gierke in the hot seat. The motorized team of Evan Hutchison now enters its second year of rallying, also with a new navigator.
Yeah, this year we had to race. We've learned the ropes. We took it easy last year. I've got a nice new navigator. I think that's going to be advantageous to me. And first time back at all the places that last year around was the first time for me. So now hopefully we know where we're going.
2008 Northern Regions champion Skalkberger and Amanda Toy will once again join the A7 battle in their slightly older but still very fast Toyota Corolla, thanks to backing from USN. They will have to fight off the similar machine of another former regional champion Michael Otto and Tommy de Toy in their Liqui Moly Toyota Corolla.
If the first day of the 2009 Sasol South African Rally Championship is anything to go by, Class A7 is in for one heck of a year, with Stefan Wilken and Skalkberger trading blows from the word go. The Panhard Seeds Polo took the early advantage, but Berger and the USN Corolla soon reeled him in, only to hand the advantage back to Wilken. Berger, however, was much faster on the streets of Pinetown and ended the day 15 seconds in front of the Panhard Polo. The motorized Toyota Runex of Evan Hutchison and Alvin Kutsia was suffering from a power-sapping misfire, but still managed to finish the day in third, ahead of the Liqui Moly Corolla of Michael Otto and Tommy de Toy, who had to deal with problems of their own.
The battle for Class A6 honours this year will be a three-way fight between a trio of Team Total Evolution teammates. Craig Trott is the current class champion, but it's a new year, and with Robbie Coetzee in the hot seat, also a new navigator for the Team Total veteran. Rodney Pasaki and Carolyn Swan are multiple Class N3 champions and now join the Class A6 battle. But they will all have to take on the speed of Muhammad Musa and Grant Martin in their Team Total Toyota Auris.
Absolutely, I've been rallying long enough for experience, and I think this year has to be the year where we chase for a championship and drive with our heads as opposed to with our hearts.
Craig Trott and Robbie Coetzee found themselves nearly 2 minutes off the class lead and in third at the end of day one. But Trott knew that a rally isn't won on the first day. Fasaki and Swan took no time at all to get used to their new Class A6 car and drove consistently to occupy the second spot on the class leaderboard. But day one and Class A6 belonged to none other than the Total Evolution Auris of Muhammad Musa and Grant Martin. Musa was flying, even beating the faster Class A7 cars and ending the day with a comfortable Class A6 lead.
Class A5 is the training ground for future stars and the most important step on the rally ladder. They start them young in this class, like 16-year-old Captonian Ashley Haig-Smith in his Team React Toyota Yaris, who doesn't even have a driver's license yet.
Since I haven't got a license at all yet, I only get mine in August, my navigator and I got to swap over all the time after TCN. So before a TCN stage, we got to stop there. We got to be in a certain area 10 meters before, run around, get in, buckle in, and make sure we all got buckles, and then we're allowed to start the stage again. And then at the end of the stage, jump out again, stop around, and he does the open section.
Former circuit racer Riyad Jaffa has now turned to rallying and will have the services of Henry Dielup with him in the Sasol Toyota Yaris. But all Class A5 eyes will be on the battle between BP Ultimate teammates and former class champion Guguzulu and Carl Peskin, who returned to the class, and current class champions Andre Kleinberg and Des de Portier.
Andre is the defending champion this year, and we've had some good battles over the last few years as well. And yeah, we just have to give each other some stick.
I suppose it's going to be a good fight. Either one of the two of us can take it, so it should be good.
Youngster Morna Janssen van Rensburg and Gewald Hutton drove well to hold third in class. But as expected, the class battle was between Kleinberg and Zulu. Kleinberg ended the day just 9 seconds behind his rival and teammate, but was forced to take lateness, which dropped him further back and handed Zulu a comfortable lead going into day 2. Team Sasol's Dave Compton and Pierre Jordan have now moved up to Class N3, the production car class for near-standard rally cars with engines up to 2 litres in capacity. It seems as if this class will only be a 2-horse race between Compton and a similar Toyota Runex driven by husband and wife Rian and Hestley Erasmus. Compton emerged from day one as the clear class leader.
Skalkberger holds a 15-second advantage over Stefan Wilken in Class A7, with Evan Hutchinson in third. Mohamed Musa has a more than comfortable lead in Class A6, with a 51-second advantage over teammate Rodney Fasaki, while current class champion Craig Trott has to make up some time. Zulu was only marginally ahead of teammate Kleinberg in Class A5, but a penalty dropped the latter to almost 2 minutes behind. Janse van Rensburg occupied third. After day one, the Class N3 battle belongs to Dave Compton. As night fell, a light breeze brought clouds with it, and one could feel the expectations and uncertainty hanging in the air. Will Cronje be able to consolidate his lead, or will fate have another say, like it has so many times before? Will the rules allow Volkswagen to regain their lost time on stage one? And who will have the last say in the production car battle? Or will the threatening rain have the final say? Day 2 of the Total Tour Natal. The day that would answer a lot of questions. The question on the lips of every BP Ultimate Volkswagen fan was, will Habig and Fecken be compensated for getting stuck behind their own teammate on the first stage?
To me, technically the stage was stopped for us, and there's a rule for that. We should have gotten much better time, but they decided to give us the time that we did through the stage.
I would have preferred them to deal with this last night, and at least we know where we would stand.
Only after 20 or 30 people moved the car out of the road, the other two cars could continue. So it created high time for us in the stage, which is what is now force majeure, called by the officials.
The rules, according to the SSRs, the rule 178 says that any obstruction on the route or any force majeure, there is no allowances made for any time lost, so the competitor must find his own way around or move the obstruction out of the way.
On day 2 of a Sasol South African rally, the top 8 get to choose their starting and road positions. And on Natal rally roads, first is where you don't want to be. In his first ever rally in an S2000, this honour belonged to Tian Schubert.
We're looking forward to it, and of course it's just another stage and we do our job, that's it.
As the rally leader, it was an easy choice for Cronje to choose 8th on the road, a position from where he should be able to cling onto his comfortable lead.
Yeah, no, we've had a great start to our event so far. There's misfortune for some of the other guys, but you know, I've been on the swings and the roundabouts with those sort of decisions, and you've got to just take them as they come. So yeah, you know, I'm in the pound seats at the moment, and let's hopefully we can pull it through right to the end and keep it clean. That's the name of the game.
The luxury of tarmac was a thing of the past, as the rally's remaining stages were back on smooth, slippery and unforgiving gravel roads. Stage 8 was a 14.8 kilometer test on the outskirts of Scottsboro, and immediately followed by Ellingham at 19.26 kilometers, the longest stage of the rally.
The Salom Group Volkswagen Polo of Tian Schubert and Henny Boertes was the first car to break the South Coast silence as it blasted into the first stage of the day. Although he wouldn't set any faster stage times, the S2000 debutant gained valuable experience and kept the Polo safely on the road. For Fecken and Aries, second on the road is far from the ideal position from which to launch an attack, but the champions had positions to make up, and a good time on stage 8 propelled them from 6th to 5th on the overall standings. It didn't last long though, as they recorded a bad time on stage 9.
Power steering failed.
Fernando Rueda and Cobus Frey were still getting used to their Total Evolution Runix without taking any chances. The Spaniard drove well to occupy 6th position at this stage of the rally, but he had a charging Fecken breathing down his neck.
Anyway, it was just very unfortunate.
Visser Du Plessis and Gerard Snyman have done a lot of setup work in the off-season on their Pertic Subaru, and it showed. They were still in the top 3 production cars, but a mistake with their pace notes cost them valuable time early on during day 2.
So nu, dus is het verkeerde stage, dus eigenlijk maar net totaal blind geweest.
Hein Latergan and Johan van der Merwe were flying on day 1 and again on day 2, but unfortunately for the Diesel Technique Subaru, the 82nd penalty on day 1 and another minute penalty for clocking in early on day 2 dropped them out of the production car lead and down the leaderboard.
We almost lost it right at the beginning, went a bit off-road, but recovered.
With Latergan dropping down the leaderboard, the Sasol, Konica Minolta, Subaru of Charles Wilkin and Greg Godrich emerged as the production car leaders. Wilkin wasn't yet satisfied with the car's handling, but had a good rhythm and drove well over these two stages to also occupy third on the overall leaderboard.
It was going well, we had a nice pace, but now we had a slipping clutch in the stage.
6 times Drivers' Champion Jan Habig with 7 times Navigators Champion Douglas Judd in the passenger seat has not given up hope yet. The BP Ultimate Polo was slowly crawling its way back to the top half of the leaderboard after these 2 tricky stages. With 2 Auruses occupying the top 2 spots on the leaderboard, things were looking good for the Castrol Toyota team with less than a day's rallying to go. They promised to take the fight to Volkswagen this year, and with Johnny Gemmell successfully completing stages 8 and 9, so far so good.
Yeah, very. It's a bit better than yesterday, a lot better in fact, not so slippery.
Rally leaders Mark Cronier and Robert Paisley were closing in on their second national victory after claiming a win during 2008. The Castrol Toyota driver increased his lead to 56 seconds after also winning stage 8, and then set off to repeat his performance on the long stage 9.
And left 2. Down through.
Rob. Well, if you look behind me, big drama is unfolding right now because that is where Mark Cronier, the rally leader's car, is supposed to be, but he's not. We've just heard the news that he's rolled. The line between glorious victory and crushing defeat is a fine one.
Yeah, we had a tremendous run. Even the first stage of today, we had a nice clean run and it was working well for us. And I thought, well, that's cool. We can build on that. And we came down a long piece of road, and Robert called a left 6 no cut. And I assumed there was something big inside the road, so I went in. And you know, the guys had already cleaned the line up on the inside, and I was slightly off. On the marbles, and I put the back end off and yeah, hit the cane with the back of the car and it swallowed me, and that was it. We went off the road. Game over.
After 8 stages, Mark Cronier's name disappears from the top of the leaderboard. Toyota's only consolation is that position 1 is taken up by another Toyota. The production cars of Wilkin and Duplessis occupy 2nd and 3rd, while Habig and Fecken were on the comeback trail. Stage 10, or Esperanza, is a famous stage and a regular feature on the Tour Natal Rally. It will be used later in the day too, but for now the roads were slippery as always. Stage 11, or Gabriel, was a repeat from Invernetti, or Stage 5 on day 1, so times on this stage should be a lot faster. Together they add another 23 kilometers of flat-out gravel racing, 23 kilometers in which to either make up time or fall off the road.
The total Tour Natal has now reached the business end of things, with all to drive for and everything to lose. With the demise of Cronier, it was up to Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh to carry the Castrol Toyota flag, and they did. Gemmell was fast on stage 10 and fastest on stage 11 to extend his newly established lead.
Oh, still a way to go, eh? 4 more stages. It's quite tricky. One little slip and you're in the side there, turn over, or a flat, better suspension. It's tricky.
With all the drama around them, Charles Wilkin and Greg Godrich kept a cool head and drove sensibly in the Sasol, Konica Minolta Subaru to now occupy a fantastic 2nd position overall, ahead of the chasing pack. This chasing pack partially consisted of a charging Hergen, Fecken and Pierre Harries. The BP Ultimate Polo was on a charge and flew into 4th position overall after stage 10. Another fast time on stage 11 and a retirement by one of their rivals soon saw the champions move into 3rd position overall.
We're trying, eh? We're pushing really hard. We are making time on some of the guys, but I don't know about the guys right at the back.
That 3rd position belonged to the Pertec Subaru of Visser Duplessis and Gerard Snyman. But Duplessis emerged from stage 11 looking rather concerned.
We've got a serious problem. We might be out, but at least we were 3rd overall when that happened. We don't know. We're smelling well, making a noise.
His concerns soon turned into a retirement.
Just a day before the rally, we broke a crown wheel and pinion. So we stuck a second-hand one in there that we managed to get, and that's what I think happened.
Hein Latergan and Johan van der Merwe were still having nightmares about the penalty on day one and dreaming about what could have been. But still, the Diesel Technique Subaru was soldiering on and hanging on to a fantastic 4th overall.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I really love the fast stuff. This stage at the end was real fast. So it's real commitment. If you make a mistake, I don't know where you're going to end up. But I'm enjoying it.
But Habig and Judd were now on a charge. The BP Ultimate Polo set the fastest time of all on stage 10, and another competitive time on stage 11 saw the former multiple champion moving up the leaderboard, proving that you should never give up. Fernando Rueda and Cobus Frey had a good rhythm in the Total Evolution Toyota Runex, and although he got overhauled by the charging Volkswagen duo of Fecken and Habig, the Spaniard was not too unhappy about occupying 6th position overall. Newcomers Tiensuba and Henny Boertes in the Salom Group Polo S2000 were lying in 7th, ahead of Nicholas Ryan and Jeff Tyrer, who were also on course for a decent helping of points in their unsponsored Toyota Runex.
After the break, the heavens open and the already slippery KwaZulu-Natal rally roads become even more slippery. Will Gemmell bring it home safely to claim an emphatic victory? Will Faken salvage his 2nd position? Or will Wilken hang on to his 2nd place, and that in a productive... Round 1 of the 2009 Sasol South African Rally Championship. Castrol Toyota's Johnny Gemmell had less than 50 kilometers between himself and the first rally win of the year. But there was another twist in the tale. Typical KwaZulu-Natal rain has started to turn the stages into an even more slippery affair, adding to the already tough challenge of staying on the road. Stages 12 and 13 were identical repeats of stages 8 and 9.
The pressure was now firmly on the shoulders of Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh in the Castrol Toyota Auris. Gemmell had a more than comfortable lead, but it is just as easy to make a mistake when you take it easy because you're not concentrating 100%. So the challenge was to keep the Auris safely on the road. For 2nd place, Charles Wilken and Greg Godrich, it was somewhat of a different story. The Sasol Konica Minolta was currently in a career-best 2nd position overall, as well as a production car lead, but the production car champions had the overall champions breathing down on them. Bergen Fecken and Pierre Harries won both stages 12 and 13 in the BP Ultimate Polo, and close to within 29 seconds of 2nd position. Either way, a podium position would be a great comeback after the hold-up on day 1. But the champions had not given up yet. The 2nd remaining BP Ultimate Polo of Jan Habig and Douglas Judd was now also flying, and the former champions moved into 4th position overall, just over a minute behind a provisional podium position. The Diesel Technique Subaru of Hein Latergan and Johan van der Merwe was still setting a blistering pace, but in stage 13, the Pretoria driver had no choice but to hand over his 4th position to the charging Habig. Fernando Rueda and Cobus Frey have now settled into a safe 6th position, with the Total Evolution Toyota Runex having no real chance of closing the gap to 5th. Nicholas Ryan and Jeff Tyrer were not taking any chances, and now in a battle for 7th, but more than a minute behind the Spaniard. While Gemmell was driving the rally of his life at the top of the leaderboard, further down, the drivers in the remaining classes were also battling for early season glory. In the rapid front-wheel drive class, or Class A7, overnight leaders Skalk Burger and Armand de Tooy were forced to retire their USN Spike Energy Drink Toyota Corolla after the first stage of Saturday morning due to engine failure. The same fate also claimed the similar Liqui Corolla of Michael Otto and Tommy de Tooy. So youngster and class newcomer Stefan Wilken and Greg Gericke won on their first outing in Class A7. The Panhard Seats Polo also experienced some problems, like a loose suspension component on day 1, but recovered with a great run that also ended in 10th position overall.
Yeah, new season, new car, new navigator, everything. We started off the season perfectly. It wasn't a perfect run, but eventually we bagged the win, and that's what we came here to do.
A troubled Evan Hutchison and new navigator Alvin Coetzee took the Class A7 runner-up spot in their motorized Toyota Runex after enduring a rally-long misfire that robbed the car of power. Overnight, Class A6 leaders Mohamed Musa and Grant Martin were well on their way to take the first win of the year. But the Total Evolution Toyota Auris was forced to retire following a broken steering rack in stage 12. Rodney Versace and Kellen Swan, the current Class N3 champions, have now moved up to Class A6 and started with a win, bringing the Total Evolution Toyota Runix home with a 37-second advantage over second position.
Just getting to know the car, we had a few problems with power steering and all that type of thing. We're struggling to keep up with Mohammed in the Auris, but yeah, very happy.
Second in Class A6 belonged to none other than the current class champion Craig Trott and new navigator Robbie Coetzee in a similar Total Evolution Toyota Runix. In Class A5, youngster Morna Janse van Rensburg and Dewald Hatting drove a consistent rally to bring their City Golf home in third position. But he couldn't match the pace of the BP Ultimate duo of Gugu Zulu and Andre Kleinwerk. Current champions Kleinwerk and Des de Fortier were more than just a match for the former class champions Gugu Zulu and Carl Peskin. But in the end, Zulu and Peskin were just too strong, taking the first Class A5 victory of the year.
The challenge was quite up there. You know, Andre is very quick, and he certainly gave me a hiding of notes. But yeah, things worked out our way.
In his first event since upgrading from a Toyota Yaris to a faster Class N3 Toyota Runix, Team Sassel's Dave Compton and Pierre Jordan were the only finishers to reach the end safely and to claim the Class N3 win.
Look, with the N3, when I started, I actually said to my crew, gee guys, detune it a bit, take about 40 kilowatts off, it's too wicked for me, you know. And got used to it fairly quickly. Friday was a bit of a struggle, Saturday got nicely on pace, and it just went well.
We've seen how quickly the sugarcane can claim a victim. So with just 2 stages remaining, the question was if Johnny Gemmell and Peter Marsh could be forced into making a mistake. But with a lead of almost 2 minutes, it was unlikely. So the question was rather, could Wilken protect his second position from the charging Fecken? Stage 14 was another run over the now familiar Esperanza stage, while the final stage was a repeat of stage 3. So both stages were now familiar to the remaining drivers.
To finish in the top 10 of any round of the Sasol South African Rally Championship is always an achievement. On the total Tour Natal, this honour belonged to Stefan Wilken and Greg Gericke and their Panhard Seeds Class A7 Volkswagen Polo. Cape Townians Mike Nathan and Derek Jacobs made a welcome return to rallying by not only claiming 9th position overall, but the AWI Mitsubishi Lancer also claimed 3rd position in the production car category. It was Nathan's first event in the Mitsubishi Lancer after acquiring the car from Fernando Rueda. Class S2000 debutants Tensuba and Henny Boertes passed their first test by sweeping the smooth Natal roads and bringing the Salom Group Polo safely home in a very respectable 8th position. Nicholas Ryan and Jeff Tyra had an uneventful rally in the unsponsored Toyota Runix, but after having 2 serious accidents during 2008, uneventful is most probably exactly what Ryan was hoping for. 7th position overall also meant a generous helping of points, something the non-finishers don't have, so you'll be happy.
Yeah, happy. The car's one piece.
And 6th position overall will probably be more than enough to also put a smile on Fernando Rueda's face. The Spaniard, with navigator Cobus Frey, managed to reach the end of the tough Total Tour Natal and only his first outing in the S2000 Total Evolution Toyota Runix.
I feel quite good to finish, but let me tell you, it's a big day at the office here. It's a lot of much more work. You really got to get angry with them all. You're driving like stolen, you know.
Hein Latergan and Johan van der Merwe were probably not satisfied with 5th position overall after an inspired drive in the Diesel Technique Subaru. Latergan's stage times were fast enough to finish in 2nd position, but it's the overall time on paper, including penalties, which determines the overall result. In a rally with such a high attrition rate, a 5th place finish is a great achievement, and more importantly, he also bags the points for 2nd in the production car category.
Yeah, I mean, our speed was very good. I mean, I think we are very happy with the fact that we can be competing with the top guys now.
Was it not for the more than 3 minutes lost on day 1, Jan Habig and Douglas Judd could have well won the Total Tour of Natal, just like they did last year. But would have and could have, unfortunately, have no place in the relentless sport of rallying. The former champions and their BP Ultimate Polo just missed out on a podium position by finishing 4th. With just 2 stages to go, Hergen Vekken and Pierre Arries still had their sights set on second place. After winning stages 12 and 13, the champions in their BP Ultimate Polo also posted the fastest time on the penultimate stage of the event to close to within 19 seconds of second place Charles Wilkin. But only had the short 8-kilometer final stage to go. Vekken drove like a man possessed and posted a time of 5 minutes and 21 seconds. But would it be enough? Wilkin and Godrich were already in the stage, and with a 19-second lead, they could afford a time of 5 minutes and 39 seconds to cling on to their second position overall. The Sasol Konica Minolta Subaru pushed hard and crossed the flying finish in a time of 5 minutes and 29 seconds. Second place for the current production car champion and a career best finish.
Yeah, it looks like it's 3 or 4 seconds in it, you know. Last few stages battling with a slipping clutch and trying to keep up a fast pace.
With the second and third position settled, there was no doubt about who the winners were going to be. With a more than 2-minute lead, Johnny Gemmel and Peter Marsh could afford to drive through the final 8 kilometers in just third gear if they wanted to, and still win. But Castrol Toyota Auris had other ideas. Gemmel stormed through the final stage in a time of 5 minutes and 20 seconds, not only winning the stage, but also the rally in fantastic style.
Yeah, that was the idea today. I couldn't slip up. You know, it's so competitive nowadays. You know, guys are just 2-3 seconds apart after 20-30k. So you slip up, you're down.
So, confirmation then of Johnny Gemmel and Castrol Toyota's first win of the 2009 season, turning the tables on arch rivals Volkswagen, but rest assured, the BP Ultimate squad will bounce back. Second is a career best for current production car champion Charles Wilkin, and Vekken drove well to earn a podium position. So, only 2 finishes in Class A7, with class debutant Stefan Wilkin taking the win from Evan Hutchison. With Mohamed Musa removed from the Class A6 battle, Rodney Fasagi claimed a 19-second win over current class champion Craig Trott. In the end, Gugu Zulu emerged as the clear-cut Class A5 victor, ahead of teammate Kleinwerk and youngster Morne Janse van Rensburg. Dave Compton was the only Class N3 survivor. Back at the Suncoast Casino and finish of the Total Tour Natal, it was celebration time for Johnny Gemmel and Peter Marsh, and a first win for the new Castrol Toyota Auris.
Yeah, we couldn't have gotten off to a better start, eh? Maximum points this event, first win for the Auris, fantastic.
Charles Wilkin and Greg Godrich got their production car title defense off to a fantastic start and got to spray the bubbly from the second spot.
I'm very happy. Team did a great job. We had our issues in the rally, and no, it's fantastic. I'm over the moon.
Defending champions Hergen Vekken and Pierre Arries are not that used to the third step of the podium anymore, but third still represented a good comeback.
We almost made it back into second. We didn't make it by about 8 seconds. Charles beat us by 8 seconds. He drove very well today. And unfortunately, you know, 2 stages we drove without power steering, and that made the difference.
Toyota Dealer Cape Rally, and some of the big names already have points on the board, while other big names have nothing.
With a near faultless performance in Natal and the excellent speed